Hi, Bob Bartlett here with the Ubuntu Flying Anglers Network and iFishiBelong. And this is our podcast series on the Reel, and I am your host. This conversation was recorded in 2024 on Instagram, but way too important to only live there. So we have moved this episode and others like it to our podcast. On this episode, I sit down with Denver business owner Angel Massie. Angel shares her growing up as a, quote, water baby and an outdoor adventure lover to becoming a certified mindfulness and meditation coach. That eventually led her and her husband Bobby to be owners and creators of Wanderland Outdoors, an outdoor adventure business out of Denver. Wonderland offers a variety of experiences from fly fishing to horseback riding to mindful walks in the woods. So please join us on this episode of On the Reel with Angel Massie. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce Angel Massie. Um, she needs a little introduction now. My goodness, your media presence is amazing. And what you're doing is amazing. But let me just go ahead and take a shot at it, okay? And then we'll get into some questions. Angel Massie, along with her husband Bobby Massie, founded Wanderland Outdoors on Colorado's Front Range in 2023. And if I get something wrong, correct me here, Angel.
Yes.
Angel is an accomplished journalist, TV personality, multitude of things, wife and mother. Bobby is an accomplished chef, passionate fly angler, and a retired NFL football player. And, you know, it's an interesting, and I can't wait to hear the story, but it's interesting how folks get together and say, okay, especially in the professional sports, okay, I'm not going to be able to play forever. So what are we going to do when we're retired at a young age, right? And so Angel and I had a great time to visit. We visited a couple times. And she said, yeah, we had a vision, and Wonderland Outdoors is that vision. So they're true believers in providing safe space for folks, especially Black and brown folks like us, to enjoy the outdoor life. So I hope I did justice to you and Bobby, Angel, and thanks for being on the show, because I know y'all are incredibly busy. You're doing the candle on both ends
Well,
thing.
one
Um,
you did us more than justice, and we really appreciate the kind words, and we appreciate your support from the very beginning
oh,
before we even launched our first trip. It means a whole lot to have support from the Black and brown outdoor community, but you in particular. So
oh,
thank you so much.
thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. Um, yeah, I fell in love with your story from the very beginning, like I say, and then I found out through Emma that she was involved, and then Erica that she was involved in. Like, wow,
How
this is
lucky
really, really cool.
are we?
What's that?
How lucky are we?
I know. Well, luck is part of it. The other thing is you worked at it. Intentionality is a favorite word of mine. So, Angel, please share how you prefer to identify yourself and where you are from. Some of that
So
background.
I am Angel Massie. My pronouns are she and her. And I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland,
Ha.
the ancestral lands of the Piscataway and the Susquehannock. So I am a water baby. Yeah, I grew
Well,
up crabbing and being on the shores with my parents and my sister. And that's probably where I first learned to love nature.
ah, so that was my second question. How did you ever get to where you are? Um, but that was your beginnings. But I also know that you've evolved into something even larger than that in your meditation work. So tell us about that. What was that
Right.
about?
So I'll take it back a little. Of course, I grew up on the water with my parents and my family, but I honed my own personal love of the outdoors from camping and hiking with my school when I was just in middle school. Baltimore is a city, so it's like I guess everyone can say a concrete jungle. But my parents' education was top of mind for them. So I went to a private school that had this program called Joint Venture. And once a year, we would go out in the woods for a week and hike and experience ways in which we can connect with the land, which I didn't know back then. Back then, I just thought it was fun. But we did that and did that up until my junior year of high school when I got my license and I decided that I was going to drive everywhere and go hiking by myself
Oh,
and learn how to rock climb and do all those things. And when I started my professional career as a producer and a journalist in Washington, D.C. for BET Networks, I created this group for women, burnt out women who are in the same profession as me or not, but just women who needed to escape the city and get that catharsis through hiking and being in nature. And I created that group. And that was kind of like my first foray into guiding. I didn't know what I was doing back then, but I just knew that I wanted to get some ladies outside and I wanted them to be able to feel the same things that I felt for nature. Um, and yeah. So
wow.
what was the question you asked? I feel
That
like
was that.
I
Well, how you
backtracked.
got into, but then you evolved into, now you're a certified
Mindful
nature
outdoor.
guide.
Yep.
I said that wrong, but
It's okay.
talk about that evolution.
Right. So I'm a Kripalu certified mindful outdoor guide. And what that means is that I use mindfulness to help people access the nature inside them and connect with the nature around them using present moment awareness, using non-judgment, and using your ability to kind of tap into these superhuman powers that we have left behind because the majority of humanity now is inside. So we don't get to utilize these senses that our ancestors used to walk and be on the land. And I use mindfulness to help everybody access that. The way that I got into it is because, one, I love hiking, I love nature, but mindfulness and meditation became a tool for me to um, kind of, I guess, recenter and to reground myself after such a busy and deadline oriented career in entertainment and TV. And so during the pandemic, I started taking MBSR classes, which is mindfulness based stress reduction. And I took it twice. There are these 6-week cohorts at the University of Wisconsin that I took it through. And on the side, they also had these affinity group meditations once a week. And so they asked me to lead them, and then they asked me to co teach an MBSR class. And I said, okay, the universe is clearly leading me down the mindfulness path because I was just going to take these classes and go on my merry way with the tools and the skills that I had acquired. But mindfulness wasn't done with me. And there is a Buddhist teacher named Zen Angel, and she wrote this book called Being Black. And I read it. And it was about how Black people, Black Americans can access a healing tool through mindfulness and can use mindfulness and meditation and Zen in order to heal themselves. And I read that and I took it in and I knew that I wanted to somehow, beyond teaching MBSR, give this to people as a tool the way that I had used it. So um, I didn't know what that was going to be yet, but I just so happened to also take some yoga classes online through Kripalu. Kripalu is in Massachusetts. The full name is Kripalu Yoga and Health Center. And they're one of the leading centers in the country to teach yoga, Ayurveda. But I also found out that they had another discipline called the School of Mindful Outdoor Leadership. And so luckily, I had co-teached on those MBSR classes. I had done the work. And so I was accepted into their cohort, the fall 2022 cohort. And I guess the rest is history. It was incredible the way that they teach mindfulness, and being connected with nature is based off of an indigenous tradition. And so it really made me feel more connected to the land, and the mindful outdoor experiences that they taught us to offer really spoke to me and made me feel like they were something that I'd love to offer to not just Black and brown folk, but of course Black and brown folk as a healing tool, but to everybody.
Wow, that's an amazing story right there. I wish I'd have known that part. We could just talk about that. But so did you meet Bobby through mindfulness and meditation? It,
No.
how does a
What?
person in mindfulness meet an NFL offensive lineman?
Yeah, no, 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 no. I
No,
met Bobby on Facebook. Um,
okay.
I in 2000, what was it? Was it 2012? Yeah, I think in 2012, Bobby sent me a message on Facebook. And I was like, who's this? And so I looked him up because, it's the internet. And so people can pose as other people, but it
Okay.
was like, he was legitimate. But by the same token, at the same time, even though I thought he was really cute, I was a 25-year-old, like working woman, focused on my career and all those things. And so uh, we did not connect at that time. But Bobby kept in contact with me over the years. And so um, in 2016, I happened to be in Cartagena with my friends. And I had just downloaded, this is the craziest story. I just downloaded Snapchat. They were teaching me how to use it, and I saw Bobby on there making some funny face. And so I sent him a message, said it was funny. The rest is history. He flew out to Maryland to come visit me, and we were never parted. But the other thing is that after that, I realized that Bobby was a big outdoorsman, fisherman, hunter, naturalist. And I was like, whoa, this is what I've been looking for in a partner, someone I can share love the outdoors with. So
Wow.
that's our little love story.
That's a big love story, considering where you are now and the two of
Right.
you and all that. So when we talked last time, let me see what you said. Last Wonderland Outdoors just made good sense.
Yeah.
That's a direct quote, and
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, how does that make good sense? So share that. What did you mean by that story?
So when me and Bobby were dating, when we were boyfriend and girlfriend, like I think the very first trip that we made together was to Colorado to go fly fishing. And so we
Ooh.
made it on his football bye weeks. We made it our tradition to come out here where I am currently and to go fishing and to go hiking and to connect with each other over um, learning those things together. Bobby wasn't a hiker, I was. Fly fishing. He was a bass fisherman because he's from Virginia, and so we kind of learned the art of fly fishing together. Um, and so on one of these trips, we were introduced to a fly guide named Doc. His name is Bob Young, and he still owns fly fishing the Rockies up in Estes Park. But long story short, him and Bobby began to be really, really tight. And so they would text each other back and forth, they would talk to each other, and he really became a mentor where fly fishing and a friend is concerned. And so Doc is an older gentleman, and at one point he asked us if we would be willing to take over his business. And so Bobby was still playing football, but we didn't, that wasn't really realistic for us at the time. But it kind of like sparked this idea in our head that maybe one day what our life looks like post football is that we are running some type of outdoor business. And so Bobby was playing for the Bears, and we bought a house out in Colorado. And then maybe a year after we bought a house in Colorado, the Broncos came knocking for Bobby to play, which is like serendipity, right? And so we got to come out here sooner than we thought. And then I thought to myself, maybe it's time for us to think about establishing our life post football. And so revisiting the outfitter idea made sense for us, because at the time, uh, I was a certified guide. Bobby was making his foray while still playing football into being a chef. And we met Austin Campbell because we actually went on a trip with him. Bobby went on a trip with him a few times. And we were like, geez, if we open to outfitters, we would want amazing, kind, empathetic, super proficient guides like Austin. And we didn't know that one day we might be able to, work with him as well. But it just made sense. That's why I said that.
Man, that is amazing. So, what all does Wonderland Outdoors? What can we expect to see there and do there?
So Wanderland Outdoors, we're an outfitter and we guide on the land with our ethos in mind. And that's being kind, that's being empathetic, that's being culturally competent, that's in all of our ways acknowledging the indigenous stewardship of the land and of those folks that came before us. And here in Colorado, that's the Ute, the Arapaho, and the Cheyenne. And
Yeah.
we knew that we wanted guides who would be willing and already take their experiences, their guiding experiences to the next level by offering top-notch customer service, by being kind. I mean, when you're on the water, you don't want somebody who seems like they have attitude. You want somebody who, even though they're not, can seem like your friend, can understand who you are. And so we take that very seriously. And then we also wanted to offer like a luxury element to the way that we offer trips because we want people to experience the outdoors the way that we do.
Sure.
So, with that being said, we offer guided fly fishing, guided mindful hikes, a riding experience with the amazing Emma Brown.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And then we also offer a food by fire experience, which is where Chef Bobby comes in and he does this amazing three-course meal over an open flame in bucolic settings with a violin player. I mean, it's a amazing experience. It's fun, it's memorable, and all we wanted to do is be a part of our guests' memory banks for life, just to, when they think of Colorado, think of us. And also, where our guides are concerned, we have a more diverse team of guides than, a lot of outfitters. And that's important to us because a lot of times, Black and brown guides aren't getting second looks or getting aren't as apparent in the industry as others. And we wanted to change that. We're open and we wanted to give guests an experience, no matter what your color, creed, nationality, sex, gender identity is concerned. We wanted to be able to connect our guides with folks that might not necessarily be connected with the folks with a diverse lived experience in real life. So we feel like the nature is the great unifier on this planet, and we just want to be able to continue in that mission.
Hmm. What's your vision for the future of Wonderland Outdoors? You're currently working out of your home, right? Is
Yeah.
that your base?
So it is. We're like a new age millennial type of operation, right? And
Okay.
so we have our reservations team and they work out of their homes as well. But eventually, our vision for Wanderland Outdoors is to open a lodge in Colorado, a
Mm.
base of operations, if we will, because for right now, we have land leased all over Colorado for guiding and for our outdoor experiences. And we're one of the only woman owned and Black owned guide services that have a CUA, so commercial use authorization for Rocky Mountain National Park. So we're all over. But long story short, we want to open a base of operations, and we also in the future want to be able to offer outdoor experiences in different states like Texas and Florida, and have those be different and unique to what people enjoy in those geographic locations.
Mhm. Well, it warms my heart. The very first time we talked about this, you and I, um, and you were talking about Wonderland Outdoors and why and so forth. Um, the reason why this is happening, Ubuntu is happening, is because I spent many years in Colorado. Met my wife in Colorado Springs, married in Colorado Springs. 3 of our 4 children were born in Grand Junction, Colorado, on the
Mm.
other side of the mountains, right? And I spent my younger years running all over the mountains and up and down the rivers and involved in various things, and Trout Unlimited and this thing and that thing. Never saw another person of color
Yeah.
anywhere. I was part of Rocky Mountain Bow Hunters. Nobody, right? And now this was in the 70s. But the reason why Ubuntu even happened is because I missed the very thing, and that's why I connect deep in here with what you're doing and what you're providing, is because that was the hollow spot in me, that
Yeah.
not seeing another person like myself on the water, in the mountains, out in
Right.
green space. I spent some time with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, same deal. So that's our connection runs deep. And sometime when we have time just to chat, I'd love to talk to you about your Baltimore experience, because I spent a lot of time running around Baltimore as a kid, especially had family in Dundalk,
Be
Maryland, if
more,
you know where.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But this was back in the day. This was before your parents were born. I was out there running around with my black cousins and doing crabbing on the thing, and that water was nasty. I have to tell you, it smelled bad, looked bad. Uh,
Oh man, come
this was
on now.
before the this was before the EPA, right?
Yeah,
Said,
yeah,
okay, ships, you
I'm
got to
sure it
park
did.
yourself out there. And it was all black folks in there. There were no white folks around there anywhere in
Yeah.
Dundalk at that time.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
but it was a vibrant community. It was just amazing to go there and see a whole different lifestyle, and be
Yeah.
right on the water, right on the Chesapeake Bay.
Yeah.
So we have that experience in common, and we obviously have Colorado in common.
It's
So I
definitely
I just
a stark difference,
what
Baltimore, Maryland from Colorado. And, I definitely agree with you. You get outdoors and you don't see anyone who looks like you, or they're few and far in between. And a lot of people would ask why that matters, right? Well, it matters because you want to feel safe in spaces that are supposed to be an enjoyable activity, that's supposed to be a healing activity. And, there is that comfortability that comes from seeing folks who have your same lived experience. And we know that Black and Brown people were historically excluded from the outdoors, from everywhere, from national parks to local pools. And I feel like a lot of that relationship has yet to be repaired, because there's a fear around the unknown for everybody. And I hope that when people see folks like um, Austin Campbell, Erica Nelson, Emma Brown, yourself, Nick Hall, I mean, Lisa Chow, all of our guides, Elin Stribling. I mean, I want to name everybody. I feel like I should now. Keegan. I mean, everybody. When people see our guides out and outdoors, I really hope
yeah.
that it brings a level of comfortability to their experience, even if they aren't guiding with us.
Yeah, I just so happens I just wrote an article. I write for the local black newspaper here on the environment and black folks in the environment, and I just wrote a piece about how we're socialized, but it's a good thing in part. But we're socialized to be athletes from
Mhm.
the very early ages. We're socialized to be athletes. Well, if no one's
Yeah,
helping nurture that other, right, that
yeah,
outdoor experience,
yeah,
um, and to nurture and support the current and future generations of people that look like us to take their place in the outdoors, we're in bad shape,
we're in
because
bad shape.
we're going to be the majority not too long from now,
Mhm.
statistically, right?
Quiet
And
as this cat, we definitely are. We
right,
are. And, we're going to have to learn to, all of us as a community, Black, Brown, white, whatever way that you identify racially and ethnically, we're going to have to learn to live together and be together, because as population browns, as population increases, we can't be kept out of those spaces that we historically were. So
Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I had Bobby in mind actually when I wrote this. Don't tell him, but I said something about,
he's
you know,
probably watching.
it's easier to be, but as a youth, as a black kid growing up, it was easier to imagine myself playing professional football, even though I didn't have the talent to do that, than it was to see myself as a park ranger in Yellowstone National Park,
I
or
can see
working
that.
for the Forest Service,
Yeah.
or working outdoors in any capacity as a guide and outfitter. It's like,
Yeah.
there were no people out there
Yeah.
doing that looked like me. And so we were socialized from the very, and even in the poorest neighborhoods, and you know, not that Baltimore's poor, but the poorest neighborhoods have a basketball hoop in them with a
They
chain
do.
net, and a lot of
They
them have
do.
lights on them, so you can play all night
Yeah.
if you wanted to,
Hmm.
right? So we're oriented in a certain direction and away from the other, and if we, you know, people like you, bless your hearts, you're down there, you're going to be nurturing that next generation. You're going to help that next generation and current generation go, dang, I want to be I want to be Emma Brown when I grow up.
Yeah.
I want to be Erica Nelson when I
Yeah.
grow up. I want to work in Yellowstone National Park. I want to be a park ranger. Uh, you know, so that's that's the that's the resonating part in my DNA with your story and what you're trying to accomplish. And I just hope that at some point, not too far down the road, that I get a chance to get back there. I mean, we have families scattered up and down the Front Range, and and I'll be blowing your
Come
phone up
on. You
saying,
don't have to blow me up. You should just text me once and we'll have a steak on the grill for you and a
that
cold glass of lemonade.
sounds good. Well, and I knew this because I enjoy so much talking to you about this. I knew that the time would fly by, and it definitely has flown. But I want you to have time to tell a favorite story if you have one, or a favorite experience. Um, I know of one that you might talk about, but then again, I'm not going to lead you. But do you have a favorite story or experience you'd like to share with folks before we go?
Well, we haven't been open long, but I guess that I could say um, back in February, we got all the guides together and we did pictures so that we could promote that we were coming. And we were late because for a myriad of reasons. I'm a mom of two under three. So we were late, but I remember pulling up and seeing everybody in their gear and just getting these chills across my body because they were waiting in a parking lot in Deckers, which you know what
Yes.
Deckers is, and they were just a group of beautiful black and brown folks in the outdoors. And I knew that Wanderland could be something special because of them. Um, and I got this feeling that everyone should be able to witness diversity, which is a hot button word these days, but everyone should see diversity in the outdoors. And that means black people, brown people, indigenous folks. That means white people too. That means us convening under the big blue sky, to unite under the auspice of nature. And so I think that even though it's not a funny story, it is
Yeah.
what made me feel like Wonderland was finally real, just seeing them.
You know, if you have a minute, and you have those pictures, I'd love to see them. Uh,
Of
if you
course.
have your gang, when you have your gang together. I thought you were going to tell a story about Juneteenth, but I'll let
Oh,
that one
well,
wait.
that too. That too. It's funny you said that. You must have read my mind because also Juneteenth was amazing. Just to be
Whoa.
able to have the violinist, to have Bobby cooking a traditional Black American fare over, an open flame and frying catfish and having these delicious Wagyu baked beans and fries and hush puppies and all the things, and to see that in Colorado
Oh,
and
oh,
to
you're going to make me cry. You're going to make me cry besides hungry.
and to
Make me cry.
see against that backdrop, smell fried fish while you see everybody uniting and fly fishing. That was incredible. That was incredible. That was incredible.
Wow.
And we're
Well, we
making
could.
it an annual thing. So next year,
Oh,
I hope you'll come down for it.
you give me the dates. We'll see if we can't make that happen. Angel, it's been amazing, and like I said, dadgummit, when you and I are just the two of us talking, I
I
think
know.
we easily do an hour and a half, but
We do. We sure
so,
do.
but I truly appreciate you so much and Bobby so much and what you're doing. You have a wonderful list of guides that are just outstanding people,
Wonderful.
and
Outstanding.
I just wish you the absolutely best. Whatever I can do, Ubuntu can do to promote Wanderland Outdoors. Just let me know, because that you're doing amazing work, and the future, there's no limit to where you can go with this. So I really appreciate you taking the time, because like I know you're busy chasing those babies and chasing Bobby too,
Oh,
and
yeah. They're a hoot. They're a hoot for sure.
running your business. So thank you so much for being on the show, for taking the
Outstanding.
time out. So thank you for listening, everyone. You can also watch each episode on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram at Ubuntu Fly Anglers on Instagram and UbuntuFlyAnglers.com on Facebook. You can also message me directly at UbuntuFlyAnglers@gmail.com. So thanks, everyone, for listening and watching. See you next time. Tight lines.